Everyone and welcome to the channel. So this video is going to be completely about finding PhD position in Europe in 2025, and we are focusing on fully funded PhDs. Okay, so I tried to compile all the information which I have. I tried to gather some information from internet. I tried to find some information from my friends who are currently working in Europe, and that's what this video is going to be all about. So I have compiled all the information in detail over here, right from how to search for a PhD, what are the things to be taken care of, where you can find a particular PhD position, and then what are the process involved to apply for that, and at the end some bonus tips. Okay, so that's how this video is going to be, and I tried to I have just written all the things on my screen so that I don't miss out anything while making this video. So if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing it. I continuously make videos regarding PhD, postdocs, and other research related content on this particular channel. Also, if you find this information meaningful, please do consider liking this video and share it with your friends. So let's start with it. Okay, let's start with how to search for a funded PhD in Europe. So you have to first of all understand that PhD in Europe is different. Like finding PhD in Europe is slightly different from finding PhD in USA. Okay, in US you can directly email the professor and that's how you get, but in Europe it does not work like that. Okay, so you have to find the PhD position. It's better to find those positions, and where you will find out. So first thing is you have to go through some academic job portals. Okay, so there are certain which I'm mentioning, like findaphd.com. That's the portal where you can find out for UK and Europe related PhD positions. Then there is a website called Eura Access, and it is for all the EU, means European Union wide, means all these countries basically called as European Union. So when I will be telling you EU, that means I'm talking about European Union. Okay, means all the countries included, like Netherlands, UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, France, all these countries. Okay, so that is all called as European Union. Then there are some academic positions which you will get like on the website of the universities. So you have to keep checking the website of these universities for if they have any fully funded PhD or not. Then you can follow content on LinkedIn and Twitter. Basically, LinkedIn and Twitter will play a very important role. Lot of labs post about their positions, especially on Twitter. If you're targeting for Europe, most of the labs they basically post it on Twitter. So you have to search for some hashtags, like for example, hashtag PhD position, hashtag academic Twitter. So these are certain hashtags which if you write it on the search portal, you will see all the recent positions which are available, which are being posted with that. If you're searching for a postdoc position, then chem postdoc, and if you're searching only for chemistry, then it's chem postdoc. Okay, that's a bot on Twitter, hashtag chem postdoc, and you will get all the postdoc positions in chemistry. If you're searching for PhD position, then hashtag PhD position. I have written all that on the screen. Okay, so you can, by these ways, you can search for position. So first thing is to search for position. Don't just blindly start emailing or applying for the things. Okay, first try to search for a position and see whether it aligns with your area of interest or not. Okay, the next thing is how to apply for a funded project. So most of these PhDs which are in Europe, as I said, they are not like a US PhD. Like in US, PhDs are not pre-funded. I mean, you have to apply for a position, you have to get admission, and then you have to pay a certain amount as a fee for the initial few years, and then if the research gets funded, you get some stipend out of it. So that's how it works usually in US. But in Europe, PhDs are pre-funded. That means the PI already has some funding for a PhD scholar, and then they are going to hire you. So for that case, you should apply for the advertisement, because if a professor has a funding, let's say if I am a professor in Europe, I have funding for, let's say, 2 PhD positions, so I will advertise it. And if you are a student, you see that advertisement, and if you apply, then it matches with both of us. I need a PhD scholar, you need a lab, we both are on the same page, and that's how you will get a position easily, right? So that's the one thing. So apply on advertised position and apply on funded position. Where to find, I already told in the previous section. Okay. Next thing is try to avoid cold emails, especially if you're applying in Europe. So when you're applying in Europe, writing a lot of cold emails will not help you. And if you have already started applying with cold emails, you might have seen that the response rate is pretty slow. If you apply in US, cold emails work pretty well compared to Europe. Europe people generally don't reply to your cold emails because they take it in a way that, okay, if I have a funding, I will advertise it. You don't need to ask me again and again for a position. So it goes like that. So in Europe, like, avoid writing a lot of cold emails. You should shoot down some cold emails, but not a lot of them. I'll talk about at the end of this video, okay, about that as well. But these two things should be clear to you, that you should look up for the advertised position, for the funded positions on the websites and the hashtags which I have told you, and try to avoid a lot of cold emails. Now let's talk about country specific system. Okay, this is very important part of this video. Okay, so you have to be very careful if you are, if you like want to get into PhD in Europe. So understand this. So let's start with Germany. Okay, so in Germany, PhD is considered mostly like a job, and there is a TVL scale of salary which is provided to you. So it's a German word, I cannot pronunciate it, but basically it's a pay scale. That's what you can say. So in Germany, all these, like most of these PhD positions are actually they are paid. Okay, like kind of a paid job at the university or research institute, and you are basically formally employed to that institute or that university, especially in Germany. And you lie under a TVL pay scale, which is a public sector wage according to the German government, which is very common, and your salary will be around 2000 to 2400 euro per month. Okay, that is what the general salary is. Then you have the PhD duration over here is around 3 to 4 years, and you don't have to pay tuition fees for most of the German public universities. Okay, so tuition fee is relaxed in Germany. And where to find positions specifically for Germany? So you can go for www.academics.de, which is Germany's portal for academic jobs. Or you can look for universities website, individual universities website. Like you can look for different universities like Freie University at Berlin, or you can look for various different universities, top universities of Germany, and look for whether they have positions or not. Or you can go for DAD fellowship. That is also one of the way how international students go into Germany. Okay, so this is about Germany. Next is about Netherlands and Spain. Okay, so Netherlands and Spain, they consider PhD as a full-time employment. Okay, and just like Germany, here also PhDs are employed and they are not considered as a student. And the general salary which you will get here is around 2500 euro to 3200 euros per month. You will get social security here, health insurance over here, you will get paid holidays over here, and you will also get some pension collaboration. So all these benefits you get along with your PhD. Duration over here is generally 4 years, and again there is no tuition fees over here, as well as you are not required to pay anything in most of these Netherlands and Sweden places. Okay, how to apply? So you can go to university website. There are various different top universities like Uppsala University is there in Sweden, then TU Delft University is there in Netherlands, so you can apply for that. Then there is a website called academictransfer.com. You can look for this website for Netherlands, and there are job portals for Swedish universities. You can look for that as well. Next, we'll talk about France, Italy, and Spain. Okay, all these countries, they have EU funded schemes. So PhDs in these countries are commonly funded by national programs or EU projects. For example, there are different like projects like Horizon Europe, Marie Curie Fellowship. Okay, so these are CNRS, and some country specific fellowships are there. So most of these PhDs are funded through them. And over here, PhD candidate receive a stipend. Okay, and they have a fixed term contract over here. Then in France, PhD students are of like generally contractual employees. Okay, they are considered as contractual employees. They are also called as contract doctoral position, and they earn around 1800 to 2200 euros per month. In Italy, many PhDs are funded via PhD calls at universities. Okay, so universities call for PhD application over there generally between June to August, and their monthly salary or monthly stipend is around 1500 euros. And in Spain, it is funded through government schemes like FPI, FPU, and to apply for this, the way is to go through university PhD offices or Euraccess, which I told you in the starting. Okay, So that's one of the good website to look for positions in all these EU funded countries. Next, we will talk about UK, United Kingdom. So over here, PhDs are considered for scholarship and funded projects both. Okay, it's a mixture of both of them. So it follows project-based funding model, and most PhD positions are funded from the start itself. And here, PhDs are called doctoral training partnerships, and these are generally project funded by research councils like MRC and all. And these are mostly university specific scholarships, so you have to go through university website to apply them. And here project based PhDs can be find like you can find them on the website I already mentioned. It's findaphd.com. So you can find these project based PhDs from there. Here also your tuition fees is waived off and your annual stipend is around 20,000 euros, which is tax free for PhD scholars. Okay. And to apply, as I said, you can go to a university's website, or you can go to findaphd.com, or you can go through direct project advertisement if you find it on Twitter or LinkedIn or any of these places. So this is about your universities or how to apply in country specific positions. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you, and it was very important part of this video, and it took a lot of time to gather all this information. Now let's talk about the next thing, which is to how to make your application strong. Okay. So first thing is that your CV should be very like it should be very impressive. So I already made a video on how to make a CV. Please watch that video if you have not watched it yet. So you should make your CV more like academic CV, more academic style. Try to include not more than 2 to 3 pages, and include your publications, include your GPA, whatever you have as your achievement. Try to include that, highlight that, so that the other person gets to know what you are capable of. And then you need a motivational letter, of course, and or you should have that. In that case, you should know, like, your motivational letter should basically highlight how you are aligned to that particular project, how you are interested to that particular project. So how to write a letter of motivation, I think I have made a video. In case if I have not, please do let me know. I will make a video on that, how to write a letter of motivation. Then you need to also provide some references. So you need some referees, or references or referees are very important when you are applying abroad. Okay, so you should have well informed referees. So they should be aware about that. Whenever they will get an email from that university, they should be able to reply, and they should be able to reply in a assertive way that yes, they know you. And mostly, like, if you are applying for a particular field, let's say if you are applying in organic chemistry, so if your referees are also from organic chemistry, it makes more sense. Okay, so try to get that. Yeah, so that is about making your application strong. So your CV should be good. Of course, when you are applying, all the details will be filled in the application portal itself. But what will differentiate you from others is your CV, your letter of motivation, and your references. Three things should be very strong from your side. Okay, next thing is how to search for these positions. I already mentioned a lot of websites, but apart from that, there are some more keywords which you can search on Google or on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and you will get more positions with that. So try to find out like Marie Curie related positions. So a lot of lab, they post about it that they are ready to take Marie Curie funded research scholars. And if you want to work under their lab, you can mail them, you can talk to them, and you can write a proposal in a collaborative way for Marie Curie fellowship. And if you get that, they will hire you, or they will take you in their in their institute. Then try to find out positions like Horizon Europe. Search for Horizon Europe, you will get a lot of position over there. Then try to search for doctoral research fully funded. Then you will see fully funded research, whatever are available. Okay, so these are some of the ways, smart ways to find out more positions on internet. Okay, next thing is writing an email to professor. Now I already made a detailed video on it, and in case if you have not watched, please watch that video, how to write a cold email. But if you are applying for a particular position, if you have seen, let's say you saw that a particular lab has advertised for a position, write an email to that professor asking your and showing your interest, okay, that you are interested in that particular lab. And all the other details I have discussed in that video, so you will get to know. Although that video is more sort of like cold email, but you can take the information from there, and instead of writing a cold email, you can write down an informed email to that professor that you are interested to join their lab. Okay, and try to write your subject very clearly, that what you want. You are a prospective PhD applicant, so try to mention that in your email. When you are writing for a PhD position, your subject should be very clear. When you're writing for postdoc, that's a different thing. I talked about that in a different video. But if you are for a PhD position, your email should have your subject line very clearly mentioning that you are willing to join as a prospective PhD scholar. And keep your email short and focused. It should not be very long. You can use chat gpt and all to write it down, but don't try to write it down. Don't try to just send copy and paste from chat gpt and send your email. It looks very, mechanical. It looks very AI based. If I read any, like now, because I have been working on so many things and I also use chat gpt for a lot of things. So when you basically read a email, you can clearly distinguish like which email is written by a person and which is written by chat gpt. So every one of us, like those who are in this field, they can do that. So don't try to make your email more like AI based. Try to humanize it. Try to take ideas from chat gpt, but try to do your own homework. Okay, you have to put some effort. You cannot get things without putting effort. Okay, so you have to give some effort out of it. So yeah, try to do that. Okay, now let's talk about some common mistakes which you have to avoid. So first, don't send mass email. When you are applying in Europe, it's not going to work. See, a single email, if you just keep shooting that email to all the labs, different places, various different labs, various different places, that is not going to work. And many times it happens that if you have sent, let's say, 50 or 60 emails, you are not getting any response, and then you get disheartened. And I have seen that happening to many students. So try to keep your number of emails short, the less number of emails, but they should be more focused. They should be more informative. They should be more aligned to the lab wherever you are writing. So that's the idea. Okay, try to write, like whenever you are writing an email, go to that professor's website, do some homework, read about it, and then craft an email which should be very much similar or very much showing your interest in their lab with the work which they have done. Okay, so that I have already made a video, like watch my video of email writing. Okay, so you will get a lot of ideas from there. Then don't apply out of your field. Let's say you are a organic chemistry interested person, like you are interested in organic chemistry, or you have done some project in particular field, but you are trying to apply in physical chemistry. It will be very difficult to get. Okay, especially when you are applying abroad, they consider you to be in your own field for long duration. So try to stay in your own field. And then don't try to skip academic requirements. Okay, very like this is very basic thing, but still a lot of students miss that. So a lot of universities in Europe, they have some like there are some academic requirements or admin requirements. For example, they require some transcripts will tell them that you have completed your masters, you have done your studies and all the things. So documents related to that, they are called transcripts. Okay, so you need all your transcripts. You need language proof in many of the universities. Some of them like want German as the language proficiency. Some don't want that, but you need to have English proficiency test to be completed. So you have to basically have some language proof if they want. So try to include that. So whatever documents they want, include all the documents. Okay, that is going to make your application much stronger. So when you will apply for a particular position, let's say you find a particular position on these website and you started applying and they have given some list of documents. So don't like if let's say they are asking for 3 documents, provide all those 3 documents. Don't ignore those. Okay, they are very important, especially in Europe. Okay. All right, so these were some major points. I tried to compile them in as short video as possible because I wanted to keep it in a single video so that it reaches at one time. At last, I'll give you some bonus tips. Number one is that apply selectively. I already told you that you have to be very selective when you're applying. Don't just mass email. Okay, try to be very confined to your own field. And if you're writing, let's say 10 to 15 very focused emails, that is much better than writing 50 of cold emails, like just shooting cold emails. Okay, so writing 50 like non-focused or just random or generalized email is not good, but writing 15 focused and more aligned emails is much better option. Okay, so try to do that. And I hope this video will be useful for you to apply for positions in Europe. Do let me know in the comment section if you have any specific question. Also, if you get any position after watching this video, please do consider letting us know in the comments, because that will give me a lot of insight, and it will help others also to understand that how these things are working. And I'm quite sure that if you try to apply all these things, your like chances of getting a position in Europe start like it will increase. So that's it from my side for this particular video. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any specific if you have any specific request for me to make a particular video, do let me know in the comments. I'll try to make that. Hope you find a good PhD position as soon as possible. Take care. Bye bye.